Bottom of basket losses can be a thing of the past with LaneHawk. LaneHawk quickly turns losses into profits by detecting and recognizing items and sending their UPC code to the point of sale to be included in the transaction. LaneHawk makes sure that your store gets paid for its BOB items.
Each time a BOB item walks out of your store without being paid for, you're losing $5 to $10 of revenue. That's a big hit for a tight margin business. But it happens several times a day, sometimes accidentally and sometimes intentionally. Losing as little as $10 a day per lane, and that's only 1 or 2 items, is $30,000 to $50,000 a year for every one of your stores.
Should you worry about BOB losses? Yes. BOB items are frequently overlooked or simply forgotten at checkout. There are many factors that contribute to BOB loss. Pressure on cashiers to improve productivity. Distracted cashiers or customers. Customer theft and cashier collusion.
Recent data from an FMI supermarket shrink study indicated cashier dishonesty and errors account for 35% of total in-store shrink. BOB shrink is particularly hard on a store's bottom line. BOB items can often run $5 or more. For example, a large package of diapers or a case of beer. We have been able to validate most grocers lose an average of 0.1% of sales to bottom of the basket loss. This translates into about $10 to $20 of BOB loss per lane per day. In a penny's business, a typical grocer would need to sell an additional $1,000 worth of merchandise to recover that $10 of lost profit.
Retailers have tried for years to combat BOB loss. Lots of different techniques: cashier training, cart redesign, removing the bottom of the basket, lane redesign, infrared sensors, video surveillance, lots of different techniques, but they just haven't worked. And the reason they haven't worked is that these techniques and these systems are not tied into the point of sale system, and therefore the cashier can ignore the input without consequences. With LaneHawk, BOB items are recognized and presented to the point of sale. The cashier cannot complete the transaction without addressing the LaneHawk item. So LaneHawk helps make the cashier's job easier. The item is recognized and the processing of the LaneHawk item is done easier, faster, and with less effort than before.
LaneHawk stops BOB loss by automatically recognizing items under the cart. LaneHawk includes patented object recognition software and a camera system linked to your POS. LaneHawk can be installed in an entire store overnight. Here's how LaneHawk fits into your checkout lanes. First, the LaneHawk light and camera unit is installed into the existing lane cabinetry. It's flush-mounted and protected by a metal tamper-proof cover. It's networked to a server in the back office. Second, we build a database of the top 500 bottom-of-the-basket items in your store. We've found that about 350 of those items represent 99% of the items found on the bottom of the basket, based on our experiences from grocery customer installations. Third, we design an intuitive user interface for the cashiers to easily process the recognized BOB items. That's it. LaneHawk is ready to go. An independent mystery shopping study spanning more than 1,000 stores and 25 chains demonstrated that shoppers who attempted to leave the store without paying for BOB items were successful more than 60% of the time.
And that's just when a shopper tries to leave without paying for the BOB items. With a cashier there and oftentimes a bagger too. Mystery shopping just doesn't capture cashier collusion and other employee-related theft. And what about the growth of self-checkout? Shoppers will have an even greater opportunity to leave the store without paying for BOB items. But LaneHawk is compatible with any point-of-sale system and with self-checkout too.
Now let's see LaneHawk in action. It can recognize items at various angles in the bottom of the cart without needing to read the barcode. It can recognize multiple items simultaneously. Partially blocked items? Not a problem for LaneHawk. And if a cashier deletes an item that LaneHawk recognizes, that item is stamped as to time, lane, and date and added to the transaction log for exception reporting. LaneHawk ensures that you get paid for the items under the cart.
LaneHawk also increases productivity and increases customer and cashier satisfaction because neither the customer nor the cashier are required to lift the often heavy bottom of the basket item. Several of our customers also believe that the reduction in material handling by cashiers will result in a reduction of worker comp claims.
LaneHawk has processed millions of transactions to date and has proven to be reliable. The system virtually eliminates false alarms because it recognizes items you train it to recognize. Efficient. automatically rings up items under the cart, thus recovering lost revenue and speeding up customers at checkout. A fast payback solution. LaneHawk pays for itself in 12 to 18 months. Start using LaneHawk today, reduce BOB losses, and improve your bottom line.